Imagine this. A life where your peace is no longer disturbed. A life where every relationship uplifts you and nourishes your soul. Yet, as we grow older, not all relationships are meant to be carried into our golden years. Some relationships, though close, even family, have a hidden power to drain us, leaving us exhausted and empty. But what if I told you that the secret to preserving your peace, to living a life of tranquility and joy, lies in knowing exactly who to avoid? As the Buddha wisely said, your own self is your master. Who else could be? These words are a profound reminder that our happiness and well-being are not in the hands of others, but in our own. Today, I want to share with you the 5 types of people you must avoid as you enter the most precious stage of your life, to protect the peace you've worked so hard to create. Stay with me, because this journey into your inner peace starts now. By letting go of what no longer serves you, and embracing the wisdom that will lead you to a life free from unnecessary burdens. The manipulator. Picture yourself on a warm, quiet afternoon, sitting on your porch with a cup of tea in hand. The air is still, and you savor the peaceful solitude of your home. The sun gently sinks in the sky, painting the world with its golden light. And for a moment, everything is perfect. Then, the phone rings. It's a call from a relative, asking for yet another favor. At first, it seems harmless, a small request. Nothing to disturb the calm you've so carefully nurtured. But soon, the calls become frequent. They're not just requests now, they are demands. You find yourself saying yes, out of duty, out of love. But with each favor, a small weight begins to settle on your shoulders. At first, it's manageable. But then, it grows. And what once was a simple act of kindness now begins to feel like an unspoken obligation. An endless cycle of giving without receiving anything in return. The manipulator knows how to exploit your kindness. They are experts at tugging at your heartstrings, using guilt as a weapon to keep you entangled in their needs. At first, you believe you're doing the right thing, helping out because that's what family does. But over time, you realize that it's not about their genuine need anymore. It's about convenience. They rely on you, not because they truly need help, but because it's easier for them to let you bear the burden. And as you give and give, you begin to feel drained, as though your own peace is being slowly siphoned away. Your generosity is no longer a gift, it's a tool, a weapon that is used against you. The very kindness you offer is twisted, making you feel exhausted, unappreciated, and small. In Buddhism, we are taught the importance of boundaries, not as walls to shut people out, but as lines we draw with compassion, to protect our inner peace. Compassion isn't about enabling harmful behavior. It's about caring for yourself first, so that you can offer kindness to others in its truest form. The Buddha's teachings tell us that true compassion begins from within. Without safeguarding your own well-being, you cannot truly offer love or help to others. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness. It's an act of self-preservation. It's not about rejecting others, it's about honoring yourself, your energy, and your needs. Imagine, then, being an elder in the quiet of your garden, surrounded by the gentle sounds of nature. The phone rings again. You hear it, but this time, you don't rush to answer. You let it go. You choose to savor the peace you've worked so hard to cultivate. In this moment, you practice discernment. You say no gently, firmly, and in doing so, you reclaim your peace. By choosing not to pick up the phone, you create space for something far more valuable. A conversation that would only drain you. You create space for the joy of simply being, for the serenity of the present moment. And that, my friend, is a profound and sacred act. The self-absorbed. Now, imagine a different type of person. One who dominates every conversation. Every interaction, turning everything into a stage for their own performance. You're sitting across from them, sharing a beautiful memory. Maybe a trip you took long ago, or a moment of deep personal significance. But as soon as you begin, they interrupt. They don't just interject, they overshadow you, turning the focus back to themselves. As if your experience is only a prelude to their story. They are so absorbed in their own world that they fail to see you. They don't hear your words, nor do they understand the weight of your experience. Their world is their own, and you are just a backdrop in their narrative. It's not that they are malicious. They may genuinely care about you, but their capacity to empathize with you is limited. They cannot see beyond their own needs and desires. And so, in their presence, you start to feel invisible. Your voice unheard. Your presence unacknowledged. As the years pass, when your wisdom and experiences deserve to be recognized, this kind of relationship becomes emotionally draining. You long for someone who sees you, truly sees you, in all your depth and complexity. But instead, you are constantly overshadowed. Your thoughts and feelings brushed aside in favor of their endless monologue. In Buddhism, we are taught that true connection arises from empathy and understanding. Relationships are not about taking up space or dominating the conversation, but about listening, sharing, and honoring each other's experiences. The Buddha showed us that genuine connection is born from mindfulness. The ability to truly listen, to give our full attention to others. But when the person in front of you is consumed with their own needs, you must set boundaries. When they interrupt you again, gently say, "I'd like to finish what I was saying, it's meaningful to me." This isn't about confrontation. It's simply about reclaiming your space in the conversation. Your right to be heard. By doing this, you teach others how to treat you, how to honor your presence. It's a small act, but one that speaks volumes. And when you do so with compassion, you allow the relationship to evolve, to become one that is based on mutual respect and understanding. In the presence of those who truly listen to you, your wisdom is not just heard, it is celebrated. Imagine being surrounded by people who value your experiences, who cherish your stories, who respect your thoughts. These are the relationships that nourish you, that lift you up, and that fill your life with warmth and meaning. The critic. Criticism is a sharp, unsettling force, especially when it comes from those closest to us. The critic is the one who is always there, waiting to point out your flaws, your mistakes, your shortcomings. At first, their words seem gentle, wrapped in the language of concern. "You know, you really should." Or, "Have you thought about?" These words, though they may appear caring, start to chip away at your confidence. Slowly but steadily. They seem harmless at first, even helpful. But over time, they accumulate, like drops of water against a rock, wearing you down, eroding your sense of self-worth, until you begin questioning everything you've done, every choice you've made. What once seemed like a small piece of advice now becomes an insistent voice, always pointing out the cracks, never celebrating your strengths. This is where the Buddha's teachings can offer relief. He reminds us that the words of others are like arrows. They only hurt when we allow them to pierce our hearts. This is liberating. It means we have a choice in how we respond. Criticism only has as much power over us as we give it. When faced with judgment, we can choose peace. We can choose to stand firm in the knowledge that we are the masters of our own lives. The choices we make are ours to make. And no one else's opinion can truly alter the path we walk unless we allow it to. With this wisdom, we can respond with calm assurance. "I appreciate your perspective, but I am content with how I've chosen to live my life." This simple, gentle statement is not an act of defiance. It's a reclaiming of our inner peace. It's a declaration that we are the ones who hold the power over our lives, not the critic. Imagine, now, standing in your garden. The sun warm on your skin. The soft rustling of leaves fills the air. And a gentle breeze brushes your face. A critical remark floats past you. But instead of reacting, instead of letting it disturb your inner peace, you smile softly. Take a deep breath. And return to the task at hand. This is the quiet strength of resilience. The ability to release the weight of someone else's opinion. And move forward in peace. It is in these small moments of detachment that we practice the Buddha's wisdom. We allow the criticism to pass by, not allowing it to penetrate our hearts. And in doing so, we protect our peace. And walk our path with renewed confidence and grace. The irresponsible person thrives on the efforts of others, never quite taking full responsibility for their own life. They come to you with their problems, expecting you to solve them, but never with the intention of changing their behavior. At first, their requests seem small, reasonable even. A loan to cover an unexpected expense, a listening ear during a rough patch. And you, in your kindness, offer your support, believing this is just a temporary setback for them, that things will get better. But soon, the requests become more frequent, and the promises to change grow more hollow. They ask for help again and again. And with each new request, it becomes clear. Their reliance on you is not just a temporary need, it is a pattern. They depend on you to fix their problems. But they never seem to learn or grow from the experience. And what was once an act of generosity now becomes a burden. One that slowly begins to drain you, emotionally and financially. The Buddha teaches us that each individual is responsible for their actions. And that karma dictates the consequences of those actions. When we constantly rescue others from the consequences of their choices, we prevent them from growing, from learning, from developing the resilience they need to navigate life. True compassion is not about solving someone else's problems for them. It is about offering support, guidance, and encouragement, while allowing them to learn from their mistakes and take responsibility for their actions. In your later years, it becomes even more important to recognize when you are being asked to carry someone else's burdens. Compassionate detachment is the key. It is the ability to care for others without becoming entangled in their chaos, to offer help without losing yourself in their problems. The kindest thing you can do for someone who is irresponsibly dependent on you is to gently, yet firmly, set a boundary. I care for you, but I can't solve this for you. Perhaps it's time to find other options. This is not harshness, it is a loving act that encourages growth. By practicing this form of detachment, you allow them to step into their own responsibility, while still showing them care. It is a powerful form of self-care, a way to protect your own energy and well-being. The ungrateful. There is a unique, quiet joy in giving. A joy that grows from the heart when you offer something without expecting anything in return. But nothing feels heavier than giving to someone who is ungrateful. The ungrateful person takes your kindness for granted, never acknowledging the time, effort, or love you put into your gestures. You prepare a meal with love, with the hope that it will nourish not just their body, but their heart as well. Yet, when they taste it, all they do is complain. You offer emotional support during a tough time, only to find that when your own needs arise, they turn away in silence. Over time, this constant lack of appreciation begins to diminish the joy you once found in giving. The energy you pour into these acts of kindness becomes a heavy burden, and you begin to wonder whether your generosity is truly valued at all. The Buddha teaches us that true generosity comes from the heart, with no attachment to the outcome. Giving is an act of love, of compassion, and it should not be about receiving acknowledgement or repayment. However, even the most selfless acts of kindness deserve respect. When your energy is misused, when your generosity is not appreciated, it's important to recognize this and make the necessary adjustments. Giving should bring peace, not resentment. It should fill you with joy, not exhaustion. Imagine, now, an elder who offers their time and energy to a cause, a community, or a person who truly appreciates their efforts. They give without expectation. But when their kindness is met with gratitude, their spirit is rejuvenated. It is this, the true beauty of giving, that sustains them. When your acts of kindness are appreciated, when they are met with warmth and gratitude, they bring peace and joy, not emptiness. It is important to redirect your kindness toward those who genuinely value it. In doing so, you will continue to experience the joy of giving, without the heavy burden of ungratefulness. As we walk through the golden years of our lives, we are given a rare and precious gift, the opportunity to protect our peace. No longer do we need to carry the weight of those who drain us, whether they are family or not. The relationships we nurture and the choices we make in them shape the very quality of our days. By choosing wisely, we create space for joy, wisdom, and deep, meaningful connections that truly nourish our spirit. As the Buddha so profoundly teaches, peace comes from within. It is in your power to choose the relationships that uplift you, that bring you joy and balance, and to gently release those that threaten your inner peace. May your golden years be filled with grace, serenity, and the profound wisdom that comes from living intentionally and mindfully, embracing every moment with purpose. If you found comfort and insight in this message, I invite you to give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe for more content rooted in wisdom, compassion, and meaningful connection. Together, let's continue to walk this path, one step at a time, with an open heart, a peaceful mind, and the willingness to embrace the deep lessons life has to offer. You are not alone on this journey. Let's walk it together.